It's another Blue Eyes deck profile. Yeah, I'm running out of ideas. Hi, it's your local dragon lady here, and yes, this is a new Blue Eyes deck profile. This one's a little different. It's a mixture of my playstyles of being aggressive and annoying. So this is going to be a trap control based deck. Now, this is not a new concept. I've been seeing numerous profiles online, but I decided to do my own tweaking and twist to this. And yeah, this can be pretty powerful. I went against a few few strong decks online. So if you want to see this deck in action, go to the link in the description below. And without further ado, let's dive right in. For monsters, we do not have many at all. We're going to have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, my nice ulties here, 2 Blue Eyes Jet Dragons. Now, this is not your typical Blue Eyes build. Usually you only need 1, but you need 2 for this one, because the neat thing about Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is if you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon on your field or in the graveyard, this card protects everything on your field from destruction effects. But if you have 2 of these guys on the field together, they protect each other and nothing on your field can be destroyed by card effects. Also, once he battles a monster, you can target a card on your opponent's side of the field and bounce it back to the field. And this is basically DPE for Blue Eyes. He's the gift that keeps on giving, because again, if your Blue Eyes White Dragon's on the field or in the graveyard, and he's in your graveyard or in your hand, and if any of your cards gets destroyed by a card effect or by battle, this guy just pops on out. It is ridiculous, and he can be just really annoying for your opponent to deal with, especially when you got 2 of them. And 3 White Stone of the Ancients that goes to the graveyard. You can special summon one of these Blue Eyes monsters from your deck to your field. You can banish and recover 1 from your graveyard to your hand, and believe it or not, these are the only monsters you have in this deck. There's no Blue Eyes Alt, no Dragon Spirit White, no other White Stone, no Sage. Like this is all the monsters you have. So anyway, let's dive into the rest. For magic cards, we have 3 Dragon Shrine. This is one of the more important cards in your deck, because you want to get your dragon cards into the grave as soon as possible. Typically what you'll be doing is sending a Blue Eyes White Dragon and one of the White Stones into your grave, so that the egg can hatch into a Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, and with the Blue Eyes Vanilla in your grave, it's going to make the Jet Dragon live. So that's just going to get things rolling real fast. For draw power, we have 3 Pot of Extravagance and 2 Pot of Prosperity. Now, I do have cards in the extra deck that you can't summon, but they are not a priority. Plus, I have numerous ratios in there that make, odds are you will be saving at least 1 for the summon, but they're not really that important. So if you do sacrifice anything in your extra deck, it's really not that big a deal. Then we have 1 Ultimate Fusion, 1 Bingo Mission Go, and 1 Trap here, 1 Ultimate Creature of Destruction. You only need 1 of each, because they all have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the description, which means they're all searchable off of the True Light. This is probably the key card in this deck. This searches out everything. This just makes an infinite loop with your Blue Eyes White Dragon. So basically, once you activate this, your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone with card effects. If this face-up card is sent to the spell and trap zone from to your graveyard, you destroy all your monster cards. But that does not matter, because Blue Eyes Jet Dragon protects this card from destruction to begin with. So imagine if you have 2 Blue Eyes Jet Dragons with this activated. They cannot do anything about it. Now, of course, once per turn, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or your graveyard. Be careful with this, because if your Blue Eyes White Dragon is outside the grave, your Jet Dragon is no longer alive. But if you have one in your hand, go for it. There's a lot of things you can do with that. Or you can set 1 spell or trap directly from your deck that specifically lists Blue Eyes White Dragon in its text. So that's where these guys comes in. So once per turn, you can get Ultimate Fusion out, Bingo Machine Go, that can allow you for more searching, and Ultimate Creature Destruction. This card is ridiculous, because once you activate it, it makes your Blue Eyes monster immune to pretty much everything, unless if, you know, it's kaiju. If you use a kaiju on that monster, well, that's all you can do. But other than that, also this card is recyclable. You can also reset it, and we're just going to lead us into the traps here. We have 3 Paleozoic Dinomyscius. I guess that's how you pronounce it. This is great spot removal, and you can discard a card, which means you can discard a Blue Eyes White Dragon to activate your Jet Dragon. You can discard a stone to hatch, you know, a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a Jet Dragon. Doesn't really matter. It just gives you a good discard. I've seen this card played in numerous control decks online, and it works really well with Blue Eyes for the discard effect. So once you activate this, you can target one face-up card on the field, discard one card, and if you do, banish it. So this is actually really good, not just for monsters, but if your opponent has a face-up Trapper Magic card, continuous Trapper Magic that, you know, it's affecting your play, so you can banish it. And of course, it's a Paleozoic, so once per chain, you can summon this from your graveyard. So if you have little to work with in terms of the defense, this guy works really well. Next is 3 Torrential Tribute. This is ridiculous because when you combine this with the Ultimate Creature of Destruction, so if you have your True Light, then you can search out your Ultimate Creature of Destruction, activate a target your Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, your Blue Eyes White Dragon, and activate Torrential Tribute, and you will destroy all of your opponent's monsters, and your Blue Eyes that has protection from the Ultimate Creature Destruction will still be standing. So yeah, your monsters is going to be surviving. 3 Infinite Impertinence, the best hand trap this format, in my opinion. If you control no cards, you can activate this from your hand. You can set it. 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance. Try to fit 3 in, but I mean, I'm trying to keep this deck close to 40 cards as possible, but yeah, you're not going to be using a lot of magic cards as you've seen in this deck, and even, you know, and it's okay if you delay. The only card that you want to use right away would be the Dragon Shrine. Everything else, it's, you know, it's okay to take your time with. So Anti-Spell Fragrance isn't going to affect you as much as it will your opponent, because they'll be using a lot of magic cards. 2 Skill Drain. It is a Blue Eyes deck after all. All you need is 1 vanilla on the field, activate Skill Drain, and basically your opponent has to find a way to beat over it, which is pretty difficult if they cannot use monster effects to get after stronger monsters. Summon Limit. A lot of combo decks. They need to summon as many monsters as possible, especially to go into their extra deck. And again, you're not summoning more than twice per turn anyway, so this will not affect you unless you want to go into an extra deck monster, which is very rare. You're not really going to be doing that much. 2 Gozen Match. I have other alternatives for this. You can also use Rivalry of the Warlords, 1 of each. It doesn't really matter because activate one of them, like unless your opponent is playing a similar deck that has like all types, all the same types, all the same attributes, then if they're not doing that, this is definitely going to affect them. Now, of course, you can also use there can only be 1. That's also another good alternative as well. But the point is, this is very floodgatey, so you can use either or, doesn't really matter. 1 Dogmata Punishment. I wanted to get more use out of the extra deck. So I have cards in the extra deck that have grave effects, and plus you can destroy one of your opponent's monsters. I tried playing multiple of these, but it's kind of tricky, and I do have side deck alternatives, so like this is not a necessary card, although I have used it from time to time. It's pretty neat, but you know, there are other alternatives that you can swap out for. For the extra deck, the main card that you will probably be summoning is going to be the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. I love this guy. So all you need is 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon plus any dragon monster. Super easy. You can use your Ultimate Fusion, which is searchable off the True Light. And of course, we have a lot of traps in this deck. So once this guy battles, you can recover a trap from your graveyard and you can reset it. So all your traps are recyclable, even the continuous trap cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance. So yeah, that's why like having 2 is enough, but you know, you can always add 3 if you're okay with that. 2 Linkuriboh and 2 Relinquished Anima. The only reason I have these guys is for the is for the Link one. They require 1 level 1 monster, and we have 3 eggs. So if you really need to get a Blue Eyes monster out right away, but there's nothing in your hand, just normal summon a egg, Link 1, and you get these guys. And of course, I mean, they have bonus effects. So yes, I mean, there have been times I've been able to, absorb one of my opponent's monsters with Anima. A Linkuriboh can give you a turn of good defense. So I mean, they're not really a waste, even though you're only using them to activate the egg. 2 Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon. You have, getting into a rank 8 is pretty easy in this deck if you need to. So I have 2 there, so that way there's less of a chance to banish both. So you can take control of one of your opponent's monsters, or you can rank up into either Galaxy Eye Cypher Blade Dragon, and you can, it's just really good spot removal in your front row, back row. So if your opponent's playing something that prohibits you from using traps, for example, well, okay, you can rank into this guy, and bam, you can get rid of the back row. 3 Elder Entity Entis, and 1 Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. There are other extra deck monsters you can use to send to the grave off the effect of Dogmatika, but these seem to work really well because of the high attack power. So yeah, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, once it's in the graveyard, once per turn, you can banish it, you can destroy an opponent's monster. Entis is better because this allows you to, once it goes to the graveyard, you can target any card your opponent controls and destroy, including the back row. So that is very, very nifty. But yes, I keep these in the extra deck anyway, because even if you do swap out your Dogmatika for something else, I mean, you still got the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which to me, well, Linkuriboh and Anima, these are the most important cards, really, to get for any extra strategy that you have. Now, the side deck is actually quite useful because you can replace a lot of cards from the main deck with it. So one of these is Destined Rivals. I really like this card. Again, this one is also searchable off of the True Light. And if you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can flip this up, and all the face-up monsters your opponent controls are all negated until the end of this turn. So if you don't have Dogmatika Punishment, or you have no interest in utilizing the extra deck for that purpose, well, you can replace it with this one because it's, it gives you an added element of control. 2D barriers. Yeah, I mean, like, this is Master Rule 5. So if your opponent is playing a annoying mix of Synchro, XC, Ritual, Fusion, like, just call one of those, and your opponent cannot play with that type of monster the rest of the turn. I got my 2 Rivalry Warlords. Again, it doesn't really matter what you use for the other Floodgate in the main deck. You can use this one. There can only be one. Rivalry, goes in match. So, like, just mix and match here depending on what your opponent is playing. 3 Gameciel Kaijus. Well, they're Kaijus. Your opponent could have something that's unaffected by all card effects, or real big boss monster you just can't get over. So, for that, just distribute those off. Because of the format, we're going to have Book of Moon, Book of Lunar Eclipse, Kashtiras. Yep, they're a thing, so it's always good to prepare for those. And for back row, Hate, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 3 Cosmic Cyclones. They are quick plays. So it adds more to control elements, so you can just flip them up during your opponent's turn and banish one of their back row cards. Also, I want to give an honorable mention to Breakthrough Skill. I want to shout out to Haltesia Gaming. If you haven't seen his channel for Blue Eyes profiles, definitely check him out. He came up with the brilliant idea of using these, especially when the tier elements were in their full power, because these allow you to negate a monster effect twice. Once, once activated, and the second from the graveyard. So that way, like, if this card happens to be milled from your deck by your opponent's card effect, it's still alive. So you can still use the effect to target and negate your opponent's monster. So yeah, I mean, if this is definitely a good backup if you don't have any infinite perms or, any of those really big cards like that. And that, my dragons, is my current build of Blue Eyes Control, I guess you could say. It's a lot of fun. Not many people expect it. So again, if you want to see this deck in action, go to the link in the description below. And remember to be a good sport to play the game, not the fame. See ya!